guys, welcome to today's Milton Knockball League video, and today we're going to be talking matchups for weeks 7 and 8. I'm joined by Sean Keating, who is the captain of the Eagles, and I'm Alex. I play for the Warriors right now, and so we're going to just say our picks and a little description of who we think is actually going to win this week, and how we're going to think what the teams are going to be like going into the playoffs.
Alright, so this week's matchups, we have the Southern Sharks and the Eastern Eagles is our first game that we're going to be talking about. I honestly think that the Eagles have this one because they just honestly, Quinn Martin and Robert Melvin have just turned out to be a dynamic duo going in, getting the job done, working together, both scoring pretty much equal amounts lately. And I just think they're going to get the job done. And with Martin out until the playoffs, I think that they really do have the upper hand.
Yeah, I got to agree with you there, Sean. The Eagles are just right now in first place, facing, I think, tied for the worst place team. And with their star player out until the playoffs, I really don't think they're probably going to win any game until the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a good thing to be thinking about. I mean, the Sharks, they have kind of a question mark team recently. Towards the beginning of the year, they played really well because they had a good all-star goalie, and they also had Charles Martin, of course, who's one of the best players, not even an argument, in the entire game. But since he's been out recently, and I don't think he's coming back till the end of the season until the playoffs, I just don't think the Sharks have got it in them to pull off the win.
I don't honestly either. I think that they're just struggling right now, and they got to wait till the playoffs and hopefully be that Cinderella squad just trying to get in.
So let's just talk for a second here about Robert Melvin, the newest rookie member of the Eagles. He's just wowed me so far this year. I think he's definitely going for that Calder Cup, really, to get that Rookie of the Year against you, of course. I think you're well deserving of it as well, but I think that Robert has just blown my mind this year. What do you think about Robert?
He's been great, honestly. He's blown our minds. He comes over halfway through the year, and he just steals the show every time he plays. He's the guy you look out there.
He's in the top 5 of the leaderboard right now, and he's just blown me away so far.
Yeah, right when you walk onto that field, you see him, and you're like,
very fast, great skill already. I'm just blown away. All right, so our second game is going to be the Western Warriors versus the Northern Narwhals. And honestly, I mean, I got to give it to the Warriors. This week, I mean, Musgrove is going to be back for the next game. You know what he's going to do. Coming off a 6-goal game a little while ago. And despite last week's loss to the Eagles, I think that they'll definitely pull off the win against a not very skilled Northern Narwhals team. What do you think?
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. The Narwhals are very young, and they're not. I think they're bottom of the league in points this year. The Warriors are up there with the Eagles and the Sharks, but honestly, I think they finished last place. Honestly, to be honest with you, they're not up there yet. They gotta get some players next year, and I think this year they're gonna go into the playoffs and probably get out first round. But still, they're young. They have young kids, led by your brother, obviously Daniel, and he's a great player and everything. But they only got one win this year.
It's been a tough time, definitely, for the Narwhals, but I think that they're on the right track to success. I mean, they signed, they actually got in a trade Jared Francis-Chelli from the Southern Sharks in a previous trade before that. And that was going to be a game changer for them, but sadly he was not going to play the rest of the year. So the Narwhals just had a tough time, really, after that deadline.
Yeah, there's still not known reason why he's not playing this year, but he has made confirmed he is playing next year. And I can let you guys in a little off-season hint. I'm definitely going for him.
Yep. You've heard it here. You've heard it here first, boys. Jared Francis-Chelli pursuing a new team next offseason. We will find out. All right. This weekend, we also have gotten word that there's going to be 2 games for the next 2 weeks in order to finish off the season on schedule.
Yes, we are.
Yes, so the last 4 games of the year, 7, 8, 9, and 10, will all be played in 2 weeks, and then the playoffs will be the week after that, Friday and Saturday of that week. August 1st will be the Sheamus Cup Finals. And looking into the future of that, I think these next 4 weeks are going to be crucial for these teams.
Of course, right now, these teams are so locked in with each other. I mean, if you look at the standings right now, the Warriors only 1 game back of the Eagles. And there's arguments that the last 2 teams are kind of out of it. It's just Warriors and Eagles. But honestly, I think the Sharks are still going to get to the playoffs when Charles gets back. They're crazy good.
Yeah.
And who's to say that the Narwhals can't pull something off?
I know. I really do think that the Eagles and Warriors are definitely competitive teams. At least one of them are going to be championship bound. I'm calling it right now. But I don't think we've seen the last of the Sharks and or the Narwhals. I think there's still a little bit of fire left in them.
I definitely see that in the Narwhals. When they come out there, they fight hard. They're not giving up.
Yeah, they definitely are not trailing back. I mean, them and the Sharks are technically tied right now. And that could definitely change. There's still 4 weeks left. That can change like this.
Also, there's other members on the Sharks besides Charles who are probably not as good. But Charles, the Sharks were in first place. That was when I was on the team and when Charles was on the team. When they were in first place for like about 2 weeks. And then at the trade deadline, I went to the Warriors, and then they kind of
started to plummet. Yeah. But I really do. I see the Sharks competing in these playoffs. I see every team chipping away in these playoffs.
Charles Martin has scored 5.
So if the playoffs started today, it would be the Eastern Eagles and the Southern Sharks facing off, and then it would be the Western Warriors and the Northern Narwhals. Now, if it started today, I would just have to say that in the first series, that was going to go to 3 games. I think both teams are going to fight extremely hard to get to that final game. It's going to take the very, very, very limit for the Eagles and the Sharks to really clash and finish off and see who's the best team. Because honestly, that's just going to be an intense matchup.
Yeah, let's talk about the postseason, like, kind of projections for you and Jimmy.
Yep.
I think, as you said, that the Eagles Sharks series is definitely going to 3 games, but I got to give it to the Eagles, folks. I got to. I mean, Quinn has been unreal. You've been unreal in net. You are like I think you're the only goalie to still score this year.
Yep, 2 goals this year, baby.
And definitely Quinn he's unreal. There's no one who can stop him. I mean, he scores 4 goals and a half. That's insane, and you just can't stop that. But I think Charles and the Sharks, once he gets back, will definitely give them a run for their money. And for the other side, if it came down to that, I would see most likely the Warriors moving on, and Warriors versus Eagles, and I honestly can't say who would win. I would have to see how it played out.
I honestly agree with you on almost every single thing. I think that series, that first series, is definitely going to 3 games. It's definitely going to come out with Eagles on top, because if you just look at the stats, right now, they're leading the league in every category. They're leading them in goals, Quinn Martin. They're leading them in assists, also Quinn Martin. And they're leading them in goaltending, which is just dumbfounding to me. I mean, they're just an unreal team coming into these playoffs this year. I think they're going to go far. They're definitely going to sweep out those Sharks in 3 games. And, yeah.
I honestly think that's what's going to be had. Like, I'm not trying to brag about our teams or anything, considering he's a representative of the Eagles and I'm from the Warriors. What I think you can hear it from the same people. I think, honestly, it's going to be Warriors and Eagles. And the only team that I personally think is going to stop the Eagles is the Warriors.
It is true. I mean, defense wins championships. And I honestly think that the Warriors have a better defense than the Eagles do. But who knows? We saw Quinn having some defensive efforts in a couple of games back against that unbelievable comeback game versus the Sharks. How do you think Quinn will look defensively towards Charles if that series comes down?
I think definitely he's got to make some adjustments going into the playoffs, because first of all, he's extremely offensive. He's insanely good at scoring goals, and I've been in the net when he's shot, and he's shot it from over there, over here. I can't save them.
He's just got an unbelievable shot, and on-point shot at that. And but comparing him to Charles Martin is pretty dang even. It comes down to the very core of the player. And I just can't wait. If that series happens, I'll be extremely thrilled. That will be unbelievable to play and watch.
I know how you feel. I played with Charles for a little bit over half the year, and the thing that they're even pretty much in scoring, but what they've got, I think Quinn's got a couple more goals, but Charles is a lot more aggressive. He's got that height difference. He's extremely athletic. He can run and run and run, and he won't even take water.
Yeah, that's so true.
But I think for the Eagles to really just shut him down, if they came to that series, it could be the Warriors. I think Quinn's got to go a little bit more defensive. I think he can't be aggressive on Charles, because if Charles swipes that ball for him and he's got to break away, that kid scores goals left, right, and center, just like Quinn.
Also, if I think about it, Robert Melvin is probably going to get some playoff time too. And we've seen him play some great defense this year.
Exactly.
And so I think that if they need that extra defensive push, say for example the Eagles are up by a goal or two and they feel like they have it, it's the second half, I would just put Melvin in there and have him kill off those last few minutes of the game and hopefully take this.
Exactly.
series.
I agree with you there. Robert Melvin this year, folks, he has been unreal. Definitely. I think if there ever is going to be a sixth man of the year or a fourth man of the year for that all-star bench square, hands down, he would already have it right now. He's come off the bench and he's scored and he's extremely, extremely strong. And he just pushes them off. And I think I agree with you. If you came down for you versus Sharks and you guys were up by goal with like 2 minutes left and Charles is just running and running and running, get some fresh legs in there. Get him playing defense.
So now, if the playoffs started today, we also have our second series, Warriors and Narwhals. Personally, I feel that this one's only going to take 2. The Warriors are just an unbelievable team on offense, defense, and goaltending. They have the field covered. Musgrove, honestly, one of the best defensive offensive players in the entire sport of knockball. That's why he's going to be inducted to the Hall of Fame after this year.
Class of 2015, he's going to be that first member in the Knockball Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And who knows what he could do. He's not necessarily known for scoring many goals in a game, but we saw last time he played, he scored 6.
Yeah, so I feel like he can definitely get through on Gavin in that net for the Narwhals. And just think about Gavin for a second. I mean, he's come such a long way. I mean, his height, he doesn't let anyone stand in his way, despite his really short height of only 4'10". And he's just really surprised me in his play this year, just being so small, being able to stop all those shots. The only thing I would worry about for him is getting goals on the other side of the field, because we've seen the Narwhals, they've been decent in goaltending, but they haven't really been able to get those key goals to win those games.
Yeah, and I think that for him personally, I feel like that this year might not be the Narwhals' year, but I feel like next year, if he decides to enter the draft and gets picked by the Eagles, Warriors, or Sharks, or even if he stays with the Narwhals and the Narwhals get someone good in the draft, they're just as competitive as everybody else.
Yeah, honestly, that would just be unbelievable. And the Seamus Cup predictions, I don't think we have any.
I don't have one right now, folks, but my predictions for in there are Warriors versus Eagles. I'm imagining it's going into Game 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
I honestly just don't know who's going to take it, folks.
Wait, we're getting word. Actually, the championship this year is single knockout game. Single knockout. It's just going to be winner take all. I just can't wait. You can't wait. We'll see you in the next one.
See ya.
Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. It really helps us a lot.
And here are the current standings in the MKL League. Thanks again for watching.